Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We'll check in with some happenings around Terrebonne Parish, and for that, we bring in First Lieutenant Blake Tabor, who's with the PIO of Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. So thanks so much for being with us, man. Kind of an interesting story to start off with.
Absolutely. So, on Sunday night, July 14th, we had a member of our Criminal Patrol Division and also a member of our Narcotics Division who were teaming up with a two-man unit, conducting some proactive patrols in the area of Bourg. Shortly around 10:30, shortly after 10:30, they come into contact with a vehicle on Highway 24 near the St. Anne Bridge. When they first observed that particular vehicle, they observed some excessive speed, some erratic driving coming from that particular driver. So, of course, you know what happens whenever we see that type of behavior. It immediately leads to a traffic stop. The vehicle did submit to the lights and sirens. It did pull to the side of the road. And whenever they were approaching the vehicle, one of these very alert agents happened to see a weapon inside the vehicle in close proximity to the driver. And again, once we show that weapon, you'll understand why. So again, that raises the alert and the suspicion of what's going on inside that vehicle. And then they quickly started to detect some odors of marijuana coming from within that car. So as we've talked about numerous periods of time, drugs and guns never equates to something that's positive. So again, they were able to contact that driver. And again, this alert agent quickly identified him as Sean David Jennings. You see him photographed here. That agent was familiar with Mr. Jennings from previous dealings. And that agent also had some firsthand knowledge that Mr. Jennings was also a convicted felon. So when you culminate all of those things, convicted felon, firearm in the vehicle, smell of narcotics, of course, that leads to very dangerous things. So Mr. Jennings was ordered out of the car verbally, which he submitted to, but quickly began to make some very suspicious movements while outside of the vehicle. So that led to agents and the Criminal Patrol Division taking him into custody very quickly. Once they were able to do that, they were able to confirm through our databases that he was in fact a convicted felon. And they also learned that he was not in possession, or was in possession of a suspended driver's license. So again, that culminated in a search of the vehicle where they located quite a few amounts of illegal narcotics and paraphernalia. You see it photographed here. This is a very intimidating appearing weapon, and as we know from law enforcement, it could do a lot of damage. You see some THC vape pens there to the right, and along with the medicine bottle, which was found to have remnants of methamphetamines inside of that, along with some other versions of paraphernalia. So at the culmination of that search, Mr. Jennings was taken into custody, obviously, and arrested for reckless operation of a motor vehicle, driving under suspension, possession of CDS-1, possession of CDS-2, illegal carrying of a weapon in the presence of a CDS, possession of firearm by a person convicted of domestic abuse battery, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And obviously, he remains jailed on a $150,000 bond.
Yeah, that's a sawed-off shotgun, right?
That certainly appears that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what now people have judges and have different types of,
sure,
but that looks like a sawed-off shotgun, which is illegal to carry, right?
Absolutely. And again, that component of this investigation may result in some additional charges once that gun is confirmed and inspected further. It just remains to be seen at this point.
But the fact that he's a felon, obviously he shouldn't have
absolutely
it anyway, whether it's sawed off or not. So
absolutely,
he may be in jail for a while then, right?
That's our hope.
And so yeah, it's good work by, it seems like more than one patrolman, right? So you had a group of guys that ended up.
And look, you know, when Sheriff Saunier put this Criminal Patrol Division together, We did some stories on it here, and that was to address a lot of happenings that were going on down the Bayou areas due to road construction and things of that sort. And so that's had a positive impact in those lower lying areas. And now we're starting to really move out throughout the entire parish. And, we've had a lot of complaints in the Bourg area. And this was a very good score and a good attempt at stopping that type of activity.
That's called community policing, right?
Absolutely.
And so you can get things done like that. Hey, summertime, people are not in school, but you guys are using the schools for training, right? And we don't want people to be alarmed or what kind of training you're doing.
Sure. So, again, we've been doing this for several years. Obviously, our regional training academy training staff conducts active shooter training every summer. Over the last few summers, we have incorporated a lot of teachers throughout our parish because it's very important that our teachers see what type of training we do. And I know that there's been a lot of teachers that have been interviewed here and in other places. It's a very impactful training. So this past week, of course, I even participated in the active shooter training that was done at South Down Elementary. And this week we are doing some of that at a local school at Houma Christian School. Again, we try to use different schools throughout the parish because it allows our personnel to really learn the intricacies of each of these schools, which, again, if something like this were to happen, that would be a huge benefit to us.
Well, and it's so important now after we, going all the way back to Columbine, but then Uvalde, if the reaction's not right, things can escalate a lot.
Absolutely. And it's about being prepared. And, Sheriff Saunier feels very strongly about training, as many of our people in this agency do, and we want to be prepared in the event that something like that happens, because there will be no opportunity for us to hold back and wait.
Sure.
We will go in and do our job.
Which, look, credit to you guys. Things have changed from that regard too, right?
Absolutely.
Instead of securing the perimeter, it's like, hey, we got to get in and save lives. So it does take some courage. I know the Valentine thing down in Florida, there were certain guys that didn't respond the right way. So the training gets guys ready, and look, it could save lives for sure.
Absolutely, and it can change an officer's response demeanor too, and that is a huge benefit to not only the public, for us as well.
To have those reps, right?
Absolutely,
so you do it for sure. We certainly appreciate it, man. Thanks for the update.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.
Cardiovascular Institute of the South is celebrating 40 years of delivering health care to our patients and communities. Founded by Dr. Craig Walker in 1983 and guided by a mission to provide the highest quality cardiovascular care available, CIS has pioneered hundreds of firsts to improve outcomes for cardiovascular diseases. Through new technology, virtual care, outpatient procedures, and national growth, CIS is improving lives and leading the way for advanced care and innovation.